My channel. This is the third video in a flow series where I go over different flow use cases and how to think about flow, how to come up with these different requirements and how to start building those flow while staying true to the requirements. And for this video, we are going to look through this other use case where basically they don't have a way to notify the other teams. As we discussed, there are two different product types, software and hardware, but on the opportunity closed one or maybe some stage, we want to notify these teams. And when I say notify, also notifying this team to be able to work on this different request. So for this use case, we're going to be using case object, and you'll have to create a custom field on case called product, because that's how we are defining different queues, and it's also good for reporting. So we know what cases is associated with which product family. So I'm just going to create a custom field on case object with product family. The options could be hardware and software, and that's also included in this link that I will be sharing with you, where you can go and create that custom pick list. And there is a lookup to opportunity on case, so that we can tell which case is associated with which opportunity. And similar to the last time, we also have queues here for different types of cases. We have hardware queue and software queue. I believe I called it, let's go here, software installation and hardware shipment. So here's the use case. When an opportunity is closed won, what we want to do is create different cases based on the product lines added to those opportunities. Product lines meaning the products or opportunity product object. So if you added, like, let's say 4 different products, 2 of them are hardware, 2 of them are software, we only want to create 2 cases, one for hardware and one for software. Your requirement could be completely different. Maybe you want to create 1 case per product. Maybe you want to have a monitor product case, laptop case, and a keyboard case. In my case, I'm only interested in the actual product family level case. So in this case, I'm only going to create 1 case per unique product line family. Okay, so that is the requirement. And of course, this all comes down to how your solution is being designed, right? So by the time you get this level of requirement, the solution has already been established that we're going to use case object, and we're going to use product family on the case, and we also have queues established. So this is all part of holistic solution, but in this case, we're only focusing on that flow aspect of it. Okay, so let's start and see how we can build that flow. And the requirement is a little bit more complex than last video, so we're just going step by step here. So you're gonna go to new flow again, and what do we think should be the flow type? I already went over all these flow types. In this case, it makes sense for record triggered flow because it is created or updated. So now we're gonna choose the object, and here it's the opportunity because that's what we're dealing with. And what is record is created? No, it's record is updated, because we only want to fire when the opportunity is updated to closed one. Condition requirement, absolutely we need the conditions here. Just going to say one condition, stage name equals closed one. And I'm going to make sure that in system perspective, you can only put the opportunity to closed one once. So I don't have to worry about this other criteria. But read this also, because it's important to note that every time a record is updated and meets the condition requirements, if you select this box, anytime the opportunity is updated and it checks this criteria, it will fire. Or do you want to have it to only fire when the record is updated to meet the condition requirements? So this is an important distinction to make, because let's say if you were trying to fire something on opportunity is negotiation. So not only it will fire when it is in negotiation, which you updated. Let's say you updated some other field on opportunity that's on negotiation stage, not necessarily, and this has nothing to do with what the stage is, but you're just updating some other field on the opportunity. If it meets the requirement, it will fire those actions. So you want to be very careful on what you select here. In this case, I'm going to select the first thing because it makes sense for my use case. After the opportunity is closed one, nobody's going to edit the opportunity. But if it was some other stage, I'll probably pick this option. So it really depends on how you're designing it. And again, optimize the flow for fast fill updates. It doesn't meet what I want is create a case. So I'm going to pick the second option. All right. And in this case, I'm going to keep it non-asynchronous. I want in real time. Hit done. So that's my first step. Now what do I want to do? So I want to create cases, but before I do that, I need to know what are the opportunity products that's coming in, right? So I will hit plus, and we went over these different elements here. We have interaction, logic. So first of all, I need to get the opportunity products, which means I will use get records. I'm gonna say get opportunity products, and opportunity product, which is the opportunity line item. That's the actual API name of the object. And what is the condition? Do I want all the opportunity lines? No, I only want the opportunity lines for that opportunity. And as we discussed, we have record that triggered the flow. It's always stored in record variable, and I'm going to say record ID. So basically I'm saying if the opportunity ID of opportunity line item is equal to opportunity ID, then give me all those opportunity products. And I'm going to say give me all the records and just automatically store all the fields. That means this variable will have all the fields. Hit done. Now you are getting all the opportunity products from here. Now what do we do? So anytime you have a list of things and you want to traverse, you want to go through that list one by one, you want to use a loop. Loop will give you access to individual products within that list. So think of it this way, like you have a bucket, or maybe like a file. You have a file, and each paper of that file is one opportunity product record or opportunity line item. So this piece will give you like a whole file with different opportunity lines, but you will use a loop to take one paper from that file. Okay, this is what it is. This is software. Take another paper. Okay, this is hardware. This is software. So that's how loop is going to traverse through that collection. So which is why loop is really powerful to use in these cases where you have to iterate over a collection. Loop through opportunity lines, and collection variable will be the one that we just created, which is the opportunity product. I'm just gonna traverse from first to last item. Now we want to make sure that we have cases for software and hardware. We only want one case for each. We don't want duplicate cases. So first of all, I'm going to create a decision because I want to check what the product family is for that opportunity line. Okay, so check product family. So that's where decision comes in. So decision is basically making a decision for you. What is that product family? So if the product family is hardware, and that means we're going to the opportunity line item dot product dot family equal to hardware, and you'll only have this available if you configured your object, your opportunity product and the product field accordingly. So that's current item from loop. So this is something we did not create. The moment you use a loop, you create a loop element, it will automatically create this variable. So this variable is used to go shift through each paper in that file, the file that we talked about, right? So this current item is each iteration of that file. So over here, and then next we want another outcome as well. Product family is equal to software. So let's type that. Okay, so again, same thing, right? We are taking that single variable. So this is a collection, this is a single. Single is basically repeated times inside this collection. And then product family equals software. Okay, so we have two different conditions, and hit done. Now we have this tree. So first item comes in, it checks what the product family is. Let's say it is hardware. What do we do next? if it is hardware, we want to create a hardware case. So I'm just going to hit assignment. So anytime you're trying to create something, it's good to use the assignment element. It basically assigns values to a variable, just like we did for the task in the last video. So assign hardware cases, right? And now what do we need? Since we're going to create case, we need a case variable. So what that means is new resource type variable and var case hardware. Oops, meant that as an underscore. And data type will be record, and it's going to be case object. Okay, so that is just the variable we can just create. Now we need to start setting those values for this. So what are the important fields on case, like required fields? You can have, well, first of all, we want to do that product family just to get it out of the way. Since we know this is going to be hardware, since we're creating hardware case, that's the product family. Then we need, again, use var hardware, and then account ID. That is the account ID for that opportunity, right? And just add all the different fields. Just going to say description, maybe status. Yes, there's a status equals new. And we also want to add owner, right? And this is where you're going to say that QID. And again, like just like last time, we can either just select ID directly, hard code it, which I don't recommend, but this is one way. So we can just say, give me this hardware ID, QID, or you can query that beforehand and then add it here. And we can add other things like description. Please add this product, ship this product to this address. You can also have address field right here and other things that we need. For now, let's just skip that. And so this is assign hardware cases. Now for software, we need to do the same thing. Copy. So we copy this element and I'm going to paste it right here. So, and then I'm going to change it, of course. I'm going to change the names. Double click that. And now I want assign software cases, because you don't have to repeat the whole thing. And now again, you have to create a different variable for the software cases. So same thing, you're going to repeat all over. Case software record case. And then you can do the same thing, product family equals hardware. Here you're just gonna replace that hardware by software. I mean, good way is always to use that picker, but if you're confident, you can just use it like this as well. Okay, almost there. Okay. And then change this ID to get the software installation, which is this one. And again, we're just skipping a step here. You can always query that and just populate that value here, just like we did before. Okay, hit done. Wait, we missed something. This one will be software. Okay, so now you have assigned the cases variable. Now, here's an important distinction I want to make. Usually, when you do something like this, we take all these cases and put them in a list. So at the end somewhere, we will assign all these different single variable that we created. So if you go to resources here, right, we've got case hardware and case software. These are two different variables. Now, after these cases are assigned, ideally what we do is we add all these individual cases to a collection case so that we can create all those cases in one go. So basically what that would look like is something like this, where we have created a software case, we created a hardware case, and then at the end we will create a collection variable. We can just call it a case list 1. You can call it anything you like, but it's going to be a collection variable. So the way you do that is you'll create a new resource, same steps, and you'll select record, and here you'll check this box, which will means it's a collection variable. And then once you have that, you can add things to it. So in this case, we are adding the var case in this list. But the reason we are not doing this way in this particular example is because what this means is you have a family check, right? Let's say there are 5 products to that opportunity. The first one comes in, it's a hardware. It comes in, creates, assigns a hardware case, then goes here, adds that hardware case to the list. Then the second one comes in. It's again another hardware. So it comes in, creates a hardware case assignment, then goes straight and adds another hardware case to the list. Third one is a software, goes in here, does the software. Fourth is software. So by now there are already 4 items in this case list. And then fifth one comes in, there is 5th item. So now we are creating 5 cases, but that's not what I want here. I only want 2 cases. So in this case, what I'm going to do is actually skip that assignment at the end. So basically, I really don't care how many products are coming in. They could be 6 products, 7 products, it doesn't matter. I just care about the first or the last family. So as long as I have a unique software case and a unique hardware case, that's all I really care about. So if it has 6, I can just go through it 6 times and I will still have 1 assignment because I'm not adding that to any list. It just stays here. Hopefully I didn't lose you there. Okay. Now, since I assigned all the case, now time to exit out of the flow. I'm still getting used to this UI, by the way. All right. So as you look like it loops, and after last, what I want to do is come here at the end, and now all I want to do is create a case. So create records, and since we already assigned everything, we did the majority of the work. All we need to now do is get that software case created. So first is create software case. Hit done. Then create another element. Sorry, minimize that a bit. Then add another element, create case. We also want to create any hardware cases. Create hardware case. And then just use that case hardware variable because we already assigned things to it. And again, it doesn't matter if that one has 6 or 7, as long as I capture 1 hardware case, that's all I need. Looks like I spelled it incorrectly. Doesn't matter, it's fine. Okay, so I think my flow is almost ready. Let's take it for a test drive. Opportunity update flow. Create cases. Hit save. All right. Now let's test this out and see what happens. I'm going to hit debug. And I'm going to skip the start conditions. Take a test record. Just to show you the test record only have monitor, laptop, and keyboard. So all hardwares. That's just how my setup is currently. And I'm going to go here and hit run. It's all fine. Now it will show me what happened and if anything went wrong. All right. Minimize that a bit. Okay, so it started here, normal, get opportunity records, and I'm also going to show you how to read this, right? So you're getting all the opportunity records, and in this case, it's find successful records. That's good. Then it looped through the opportunity lines. That is this step. And once we get there, it looks like it found 1, 2, and 3 opportunity lines. That's consistent with the example that I just showed you. Okay, then it enters inside the loop. It takes the first one. Okay, so first one, it checks, okay, hardware equals to hardware. Is that true or false? So it's just going to pick the first one in the list. And in this case, it's finding, yep, hardware equals to hardware. This is a hardware case because it's hardware. And then it keeps looping through them, current iteration 1, 2, and 3. Because we don't have anything after that, it just loops itself, right? It loops, is it a hardware case? Is it a software case? But in every case, it's picking the hardware condition is meeting true. The software doesn't even matter because it didn't even go there, since there is no software product in this case. All right, then it comes here, assigns the hardware case, new hardware, all our statuses, and it keeps repeating itself 3 times. But at the end, all we care about is the case that was created. Then it comes out of the loop, creates the hardware case, and product family is hardware, account ID is this much, owner ID, status is new, and that's it. So that's the end of the flow. If there was another software case, it would also have a software case. Since the software was completely empty, it didn't even bother creating that software case, which is good because that's what we want. Now I'm going to activate this so we can see that in action. And I'm just going to mark this as open just to test it out. And I'm going to add one more product here. Let's add a software product, right? I think I have Microsoft products. That's a software. Cool. That's a software product. Hit next. So now I have 3 hardware and 1 software. What I'm expecting to happen is it creates me 2 cases, 1 hardware and 1 software assigned to their specific queues. Let's see. Hit closed, select close stage, closed 1, that's my condition, hit save. Now that should create cases assigned to this. And what did I miss? This is an old one. I actually did not associate the case to the opportunity. So if I go back to the edit flow, the case probably got created, but it did not get associated to that opportunity because we didn't populate the opportunity lookup. So if I go here, right, this is probably the case that was just created. These 2, 146 cases are there, but there are very little fields that we populated. So if I go here, so it looks like the product family is also not looking accurate, and it's a hardware shipment. So yes, there are some bugs here. So what do? We just go back to the flow and fix the issues that we're facing. So first thing we need to do is come here and actually add hardware.opportunity because we want to link it to that opportunity. And this is record.id. It would also be nice to have a subject. Hardware fulfillment. Okay, and this is hardware. Good. And let's see the YEAQ. Just make sure that's the correct ID. YEAQ. Cool. Hit done. Then go to the next one. Alright, so it looks like I assigned both of them to hardware. This is EAQ. This should be actually software. So just copy that software ID here. Software installation. And again, that is another reason why you just want to query it out instead of just hard coding this here. Software, and then let's add that software opportunity and linking it to record.id. Same thing. save it as a new version and activate that new version now. Okay, now let's try that again. Going to go to a new opportunity or some other opportunity, maybe this one. This doesn't have any product, so let's add some products here. All right, hit save. And we got the products. Now I'm just going to close win this opportunity. Right now I have no cases under this. If I go to related list here, there's no cases. Okay, select close stage and closed one, save. All right, there we go. So now we have two cases that were just created. I forgot to insert subject for the software, but you get the idea. So two cases were created, one hardware and one software. Now ideally this actually ties back to our use case where the other team will get automatically notified, because assuming you have a queue assignment rule or something to notify them, and they can see this in their queue. They can have the list view ready. There will be a case hardware list view and software list view. So those folks can start working on it. And then there can be more automations after that. After the case is closed, maybe the email goes out to billing or finance team to collect the invoicing and things like that, or send the customer an email about their shipment tracking. There can be a lot of use cases around after that shipment is done, or after the software. Maybe after the software is done, you send out a survey to the customer. That can also be part of another automation. So we are definitely hitting all these checkboxes by using Salesforce flows. Awesome. When you create queues, Salesforce automatically creates the list views. So these are all my shipment. I know that was a lot to take in. Just to summarize, we looked at a loop. We looked at how to get collection variable, how to loop through them, what are the different ways we can use decision, how to assign variables and values using assignment, and then what is the difference between using a list assignment or just creating the records directly. So please practice in your org. That's the best way to practice flows, is just by doing it. And if you get stuck, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.